5 personal growth principles so nothing can bother you, ladies and gentlemen. Life is a constant flow of challenges, a journey where storms come uninvited and obstacles rise without warning. Yet, what truly defines us is not the absence of trials, but the strength with which we rise above them. There comes a time when you realize that the world around you is not always in your control, but the world inside you always is. The battles you win are not always the ones others can see. They are the ones you quietly conquer within yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing on the outside has the power to shake you anymore. Let me share with you 5 personal growth principles that, once embraced, can create an unshakable foundation within you. These principles do not eliminate pain or remove problems, but they empower you to walk through them with grace. They give you resilience, clarity, and inner freedom, so that no matter what life throws at you, you remain unbothered, unshaken, and unstoppable. Number 1, master your inner dialogue. The words you whisper to yourself are the most powerful forces shaping your reality. Every thought, every sentence you repeat builds either the prison of your fears or the wings of your freedom. If you keep telling yourself you are weak, you will eventually believe it. If you remind yourself you are capable, you will rise to match those words. Mastering your inner dialogue is the first step to living above the noise of the world. There are people who spend their entire lives trying to silence the opinions of others, but they forget that the loudest critic often lives within their own mind. That inner critic must be transformed into an inner coach. Instead of saying, "I can't," you must teach your mind to say, "I will try." Instead of saying, "I am broken," you must remind yourself, "I am becoming." When you change your self-talk, you change your direction. The truth is, you cannot always control what others will say about you, but you can always control what you say to yourself after hearing them. Your response to their voices is what sets you free. When your inner dialogue becomes stronger than external criticism, you rise unshaken in the face of judgment. That is the shield no one can take away from you. The discipline of reshaping your thoughts is not easy. It takes daily effort, catching yourself in moments of self-doubt, and consciously replacing the thought with one of strength. Over time, this becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, peace follows. Remember that the way you speak to yourself is the way you program your destiny. Be gentle, be empowering, and be intentional. Lift yourself before anyone else does, because sometimes you are the only one who can. And when you master that, the voices of the world lose their power over you. Your inner dialogue is not just about survival, it is about building resilience. It is the quiet strength that makes you unbothered when storms rise. It is the inner light that shines so brightly that no shadow can dim it. This is where growth begins, within the silence of your mind, where the strongest battles are won. Number 2, detach from what you cannot control. One of the greatest causes of suffering is the desire to control everything and everyone around you. Life, however, has its own rhythm, its own plan, and it does not bend to our wishes. The moment you accept this, you step into a freedom most people never taste. Detachment is not about not caring, it is about caring without being consumed. When someone hurts you, you cannot control their actions, but you can control your response. When opportunities close, you cannot control the door, but you can control your willingness to search for another one. This principle teaches you to release the illusion of control and embrace the reality of choice. That is where your strength lies. There will always be circumstances you cannot change: loss, rejection, betrayal. But none of them can define you unless you hand them the power to do so. Detachment is your way of saying, "I choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion." It is not weakness, it is wisdom. The moment you let go of the need to control, you stop being drained by what is not yours to fix. You create space for healing, for growth, for energy to flow into things you can influence. You stop resisting life and start moving with it, like a river that adapts to rocks but never stops flowing. Detachment teaches you patience. It whispers that every setback is temporary, every storm eventually passes. By not clinging to outcomes, you discover the beauty of living in the present moment. You begin to notice life unfolding with grace, even in its imperfections. Your peace is not found in controlling others, it is found in mastering yourself. The world will always be unpredictable, but your calm can be unshakable. And when you live this way, nothing external can bother you anymore. You are anchored not by control, but by trust in your ability to rise no matter what. Number 3, build emotional resilience. Life will test you again and again, and every time it does, you have two choices. Either break under the weight of it or become stronger because of it. Emotional resilience is not about avoiding pain, it is about learning to endure it without letting it destroy your spirit. It is about standing tall even when the ground beneath you feels unsteady. There are people who crumble at the first sign of rejection, who lose themselves when someone walks away. And then there are those who rise stronger after every heartbreak, every failure. What sets them apart is not luck, it is resilience. They decide that nothing will take away their ability to hope, to heal, to keep going. Resilience does not mean you don't cry, it means you don't stay broken. It does not mean you don't feel pain, it means you don't let the pain define you. It is the courage to look at your scars and see stories of survival, not signs of weakness. You build resilience by facing challenges, not by running away from them. Each time you rise after being knocked down, your heart becomes stronger. Each time you choose to forgive, instead of holding on to anger, your spirit grows freer. Resilience is built in the silent moments when you choose hope over despair. When you are resilient, people cannot easily disturb your peace. Their words may sting, but they do not define you. Their actions may hurt, but they do not destroy you. You learn to bend but never break, to fall but always rise again. Resilience is your armor. It is what allows you to walk into storms with the calm of someone who knows they will make it through. And when you cultivate this strength, nothing around you has the power to bother you anymore. Your heart becomes a fortress of quiet power. Number 4, practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is the art of focusing on what you have rather than mourning what you lack. It is the simplest yet most profound principle of growth because it shifts your perspective instantly. The moment you count your blessings, you begin to see life not as a burden but as a gift. When life throws challenges your way, gratitude allows you to find lessons within them. When people disappoint you, gratitude helps you see the strength you gain through it. It turns pain into wisdom, endings into new beginnings, and problems into opportunities to grow. So many people wake up every morning focusing on what is missing in their lives. They forget the simple blessings, the breath in their lungs, the roof over their heads, the people who still care for them. Gratitude does not deny struggle, but it reminds you that even in the darkest nights, stars still shine. Gratitude protects your heart from bitterness. When you are thankful, resentment cannot take root. When you are thankful, comparison loses its power. You no longer look at what others have and feel less. You look at your own life and feel enough. By practicing gratitude daily, you train your mind to seek light instead of darkness. You begin to carry joy in your spirit that no one can steal from you. Even on the hardest days, you will find something to be grateful for, and that something will keep you going. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a discipline. It is writing down what you are thankful for, speaking it aloud, carrying it in your heart. And when gratitude becomes your habit, peace becomes your lifestyle. That is when nothing can bother you anymore. Number 5, choose growth over comfort. The final principle is about daring to leave your comfort zone. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you small. Growth feels uncomfortable, but it makes you unstoppable. When you choose growth over comfort, you teach yourself that life is not about avoiding pain, but about embracing transformation. So many people stay stuck in places they have outgrown because they fear change. They let comfort become their prison. But you were not created to remain the same. Every challenge, every discomfort is life's way of stretching you into a stronger version of yourself. Choosing growth means taking risks, facing fears, stepping into the unknown with faith. It is about doing the hard things even when your heart trembles. It is about falling and learning, failing and trying again. Growth does not happen where you feel safe. It happens where you feel stretched. The beauty of growth is that once you taste it, comfort no longer satisfies you. You begin to realize that discomfort is not the enemy, it is the doorway to becoming more. You understand that every difficult season is preparing you for a stronger tomorrow. Growth demands courage, but it also gives back freedom. When you train yourself to embrace challenges instead of running from them, life cannot intimidate you anymore. You stand tall, unbothered, because you know that every obstacle is simply shaping you into who you were meant to be. This principle reminds you that comfort will give you temporary ease, but growth will give you lasting strength. And when you choose growth, you choose a life where nothing on the outside can disturb the fire that burns within you. At the end of the day, life will never stop testing you. People will always have opinions, circumstances will always shift, and challenges will always arise. But the real question is, will you allow these things to control you, or will you rise above them? When you choose to master your inner dialogue, detach from what you cannot control, build resilience, live in gratitude, and choose growth over comfort, you create a shield of strength no storm can break. You discover that peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of inner power. These 5 principles do not promise a life without pain, but they promise a heart that can withstand it. They do not remove struggles, but they give you the strength to walk through them unbothered. They transform your perspective, they anchor your spirit, and they remind you that nothing outside of you has the authority to define you. When you live by these principles, you stop surviving and start thriving. You rise unshaken, unbothered, and unbreakable, no matter what comes your way.